And welcome everyone to another MSL Code A set of games. Now these games are not just any particular set of games. These are actually the MSL Season 1 Code A Grand Finals. You'll notice, as I do the player intros, that we've seen some of these before. Here we are on Star Station. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have the orange Protoss, Stefanovich. Now, Stefanovich actually faced off against Uncia, his opponent, here in the winner's bracket finals. And Stefanovich was knocked down to the loser's bracket and then defeated all of his opponents there. So now we get to see the same matchup yet again. So it'll be really interesting to see how these players react to being put up against each other again. So keep in mind, another thing that's really important here is that this is no longer a best of 5, it's a best of 7. So best of 7s can lead to some crazy shenanigans. I really want to see some of those crazy shenanigans. And of course, coming back up here, we have the pink Zerg player, Unica, or Uncia. I've been calling him something wrong the entire time, but I'm going to stick with it because that just rolls off the tongue. And so I feel pretty good about that. So, Star Station, it's becoming a really frequently played map. Of course, it's in the map pool, so of course it would be. It's been around for what's starting to feel like a decent amount of time. Big thing to note is got a pretty easy to defend natural. It's a really small choke. Really huge middle of the map. And a pretty close third base. And a huge area on the side to defend. So, would not be surprised at all to see some blink stalkers out, because remember, these wide open spaces, they favor more mobile units as opposed to slower, more straight line offensive units, just because the faster ones have such a good ability to flank their opponents. So a pretty standard opening. We see Hatch Pool out of Stefanovich, whereas Unica going for a much more passive opening than what we saw out of him previously. Just want to point out that usually in this game, or in the winner's bracket finals, it really appeared that Stefanovich tried to do some more one-base style aggression, and then Unica usually was able to hold it off fairly well, and then came back and won, although Stefanovich did actually take a match off of Unica, and I do believe we're going to see some more exciting action coming up here. So, once again, with both of these players staying pretty passive right now, the game will really start getting interesting here in about 2 to 4 minutes. Kind of depends. It really depends on actually if Unica decides to come here and take this third base, which I do believe he should be doing. There he goes. Remaining one base up on your Protoss, or your Zerg, as Zerg, remaining one base up on your other race opponents is really important. To keep up on that drone production and enough units to actually defend and live. So excellent move there. Really glad to see that. Back here we do see it was a Forge expand. So Forge fast expand. That drone will get away with his life. The 1 hit point of health regen is super important there. As it healed 1 hit in between. And so he did not lose it. Let's see. So actually, just want to take a moment and say I'm glad to be back in the saddle again. I was been really busy in my personal life lately, and haven't been able to play StarCraft like at all in the last few months. It feels like I think I played twice. It's been kind of sad. Lots of other fun projects though. I've been working on home theater PCs, building my own servers, setting up my own Active Directory, all sorts of other really nerdy things. But nothing's quite as nerdy as sitting in your own quiet room. Talking to yourself quietly, or in my case loudly, about StarCraft. I do want to point out that we are now over 500 views for my channel, which means that we're approaching 10 views a video, which is kind of pathetic, but appreciate all of you who support me by watching and enjoying, and even sometimes commenting on the games. Some point I'd really like to have it take off a little bit more. I will be adding more content here at some point in the future, not just the same type of content as well. I've got some tutorials just about ready to go up about how to set up your own voice chat servers with Mumble and Vent, two really popular programs. So I've got some interesting stuff coming up if any of you are interested. Another thing I want to point out, that this time the entrance at Stefanovich's base is a little bit smaller. It's still not as small as it could be, but it's going to be a lot easier to block that off in case of any large Ling run-bys. So good positioning here. It looks like he's learned a little bit from the previous time. An additional 2 gases going down. And now we're going to start seeing all the tech coming out, because remember, the cybernetics core is finally all the way done. And he's starting to accumulate that gas. And so we really want to be paying attention to what Stefanovich is going to be doing with these next few tech buildings. Or if he's just going to go really heavy gateway aggression. We do see the mothership core and a few units coming out here. This is just, it's not going to get too much done. It will be a little bit annoying, and it's going to force a few more units. Actually, I don't think it'll force any more units out. I think you should recall and get out of there. Although there's no recall, so I'm not going to have that happen. Ooh, move command. Zealot gets trapped. Going to go down. Ooh, and the mothership core. Ooh, that was painful. A little bit sloppy control there. He was free. Off of the creep. He was going to survive just fine. Twilight Council, by the way. Instead, tried to run back home, but brought him back over the creep where the queens could take it out. That's quite unfortunate. We don't see another mothership core actually in production, although we do see continued worker production out of both of these players. Here's what I mean. 39 drones to 41 probes. To stay even, you really have to have that additional base. And another thing, so in this particular instance, Unico is actually really well prepared. He already had pre-built units to deal with some sort of aggression. Not too many. I think he had something like 8 or 10 Zerglings and enough queens, as he is doing kind of the Scarlet-esque 4-queen, 6-queen opening. Yeah. I think it was a 4-queen with an additional 1 thrown in and built it here. But the thing is that attacking your opponent with units early on in the game, especially if they are Zerg opponents, can really actually throw them off, because they want to keep building drones. They just basically want to build drones, and then as soon as they see your army coming, they flood out 180 Zerglings, or something like that. So even just going and attacking, even if you don't get much done, you just simply retreat. You can actually do a lot of economic damage to your opponent, as they have to build units instead of drones to survive. Wow, 8 active creep tumors. Excellent job. Previously, we've seen Unica struggle a little bit with creep spread, and it looks like maybe our comments here on the internet have helped him out, and it looks like he's focusing on that a little bit more, and we do see the spire going down. So now, so you get to this point with 3 base Zergs, where now that you've got enough economy, which he's actually still behind in economy, so not quite ideal. Ooh, proxy. That you start having all of this money that you have coming in because you've invested so much into economy over and over again. It starts to pay off, and then you really are able to produce a whole bunch of tech and high-priced units kind of all at the same time. Although Unica doesn't have enough resources at this point in time to really utilize the Spire when it happens. So I feel like that's partially because all of these other units that have come out, as the drone count's not as high as it could have been, and neither of these gas geysers were down earlier. But the big deal here is that Stefanovich is looking like he wants to make some aggression happen. A lot of stalkers. That might not be the greatest, although this attack angle is actually pretty good. Throw down a time warp right here. It'll make it very, very difficult for those forces to come and attack. Those zealots here right in the middle. It's actually the worst possible place. The mothership core is going to escape. No, he needs to pull back. Mothership core, come back. Ooh, really bad decision there. He should be able to get a lot of those units stuck in the time warp. Although I don't know how much he's going to be able to. Ooh, aggressive blink forward. Don't know if I like that decision. He's now caught on creep. He can retreat through this time warp. The Unica doesn't want to engage there, although now with the mothership core gone, I don't know if Stefanovich is really going to be able to make use of that. He could have continued warping it. I would have liked to see another 8 zealots. That would have been excellent. Instead, Unica is going to be safe, produced a little bit more, but more importantly, produced Mutalisks. Mutalisks, really low DPS, but they live forever, and they can be super annoying. And a ninja expansion. Good job leaving that zealot there. I really like that. So, for those that watched the previous set of matches, Unica actually lost his one match, I do believe, on Star Station. You know, it's been a while since I've rewatched all my own videos, since, you know, I can't do that because that would be increasing all my own stats. Oh, that's painful. Watching all those stalkers go in. Ooh, this could be good. Taking out a gas geyser. Pretty good snipe. Some of these stalkers will get caught off guard. The big deal here, though, is that now we have this counterattack from these mutas in the back. There's no mothership core to throw down Photon Overcharge. All the Stalkers are up at the front. There's a few Stalkers here. They will be able to push those other units back. But the big deal is that Mutas, if you don't kill them, they regen their health very quickly, and it's really a big, giant pain in the butt. A good number of workers killed. 11 workers killed from Unica, so good job there. I really don't like this expansion. I understand why. I understand the feeling why. It works great if your opponent never scouts it. So, for the record, they do work really well. But they're impossible to defend. Warp-ins can help that a lot. Would have liked to have seen that here and just make it a little bit harder. So you throw down a cannon or two here, make it harder for those mutas to come all the way around, and you can chase them into those. So it restricts movement paths there. But it looks like we're going to have an engagement here. How fast will Stefanovich react? It doesn't look like he's going to react at all. He's got completely surrounded. He does blink away, but at what cost? Looks like he's going to be able to kite some of those Zerglings. The Roaches, actually, I don't know if the Roaches have speed. They do. Okay, excellent. Ooh, all of them will get picked off. The big news there was that that's all of Stefanovich's army. So it's now 150 to 90 or to 79. The win behind Dark Shrine going to be going down. A little bit vulnerable in that location. Not the end of the world though. We also have some a non-zero amount of gateways. Okay, now they're turning into warp gates. The big problem is I don't think Stefanovich is going to be able to hold this attack right here. All of those units that Stefanovich forced out of him now have to do something in order to pay for themselves. This is a pretty good position, but there's no sentry here. So this wall will go down really quick, and this Zealot wall, so it's not a complete wall. You need to make that wall a little bit smaller. The building would actually go right about there to block it off with one Zealot. See? Look at that. Oh, there they go. They stopped to attack. That's why they made it all the way in. Now the Stalkers here need to make a nice big arc right at the bottom, or right at the top of this ramp. This Mothership Core also should hang back, stay safe. Okay, so it looks like he's going to stabilize here. He is getting out. Wow, going to get out Storm. Storm and Dark Templar, so he's going for the two very expensive tech routes at the exact same moment. Other big news here is that the Forge at the front works well for making a wall, has a lot of hit points. Doesn't work so well when it dies, and then you can't build anything to defend yourself. Ooh, the Dark Shrine's going to be spotted. That's actually a big deal. He does know that it's there. He's going to try to focus it down. I don't think that'll happen. He needs to pull back and defend. Ooh. Oh, let's see. 8 Swarm Hosts. This could actually be very devastating. Swarm Hosts, though, you need to have a good number of them, and you need some decent creep spread to be able to do any real good long-range attacking with them. And actually, Stefanovich here has the larger economy, which is a little bit surprising. He's one base down, and has lost some workers. However, it's going to... it's this base up here that's hidden, that's actually got quite a good number of workers that's going to be keeping him alive. The difference is if he's going to be able to deal with these locusts from the Swarm Hosts. They are burrowing pretty close. Now, what needs to happen? So Stefanovich, he needs to try to be very, very cost effective. Try to make these units expend themselves against absolutely nothing or buildings. So he just lost a whole bunch of units to free units, which is actually really annoying. Ooh, and the Mist Storm. That's gotta hurt. If he could storm the rest of these locusts as they pop out, that would actually be really good. And this army out here is not actually huge other than these Swarm Hosts. So he needs to continue amassing army size until he's able to defeat the next swarm of locusts and then immediately rush out. Gonna watch this. Okay, additional locusts. This is actually so painful to watch. They do have their decent upgrades. Look how fast they take things out. Locusts are insanely powerful for free units. Zealots. Whew. You escaped with your life, buddy. And it looks like Stefanovich is content to just hang out here. He moves out at exactly the wrong time. That's super painful. Okay, so some decent storms. They're a little bit behind everything. That's a good storm. Yeah, take that one. He's got an arc on here. Good job there. It absorbed some damage, but the concave here from the roaches is just enough. A lot fell to those early locusts, and he's going to be repelled back into his base. He does not have a way to get those Dark Archons or Dark Templar out to really push his opponent back. And so I think this is actually going to be GG here coming up pretty soon. especially with the reinforcements, the reburrowing of all of those swarm hosts, the aggressive blink down, trying to pick off a swarm host, instead having to run back by all of those roaches. That's super painful. He could potentially defend here at the top of the ramp in a nice concave for a while. The roaches here actually not doing the greatest. Yeah, it looks like he's just going to go try to counterattack. And now, it is a little bit of a base race. We do have this one Dark Templar that got out, warped in here. Zealots and some Dark Templar. However, there's plenty of detection around. Or there should be. I saw some detection earlier. Although the army's nowhere in sight, so the Mutas could come back and fight. Although, to be completely honest, he could just make the Dark Templar into Archons and really put the hurt on in terms of Mutas. There's not lots of Spine Crawlers, so this is actually a pretty close base race. Remember, this other base up here is completely hidden. No, don't go kill creep tumors. Go for the base. Go for the base. Do it. Oh, that's painful. He's not watching his base. Where exactly is he? Okay, now he's paying attention. Okay. Just wanted to really understand what exactly was going through his head right there. The Swarm Host here continuing to do good damage. He's got to be wondering why he hasn't GG'd, so he should know here pretty soon. Yeah, if he'd made those into Dark Archons. Or Dark Archons. Just normal Archons, actually. An Archon would have been able to take out lots of those, but I don't think they would be able to take out all of them. However, there are... that's not another Dark Templar. I was really hoping for some more Dark Templar. There's the Archons. Splash damage. As the rest of the army is actually really immobile. These Swarm Hosts will take absolutely forever to go defend. I would be worried about defending up here. You've got a huge bank. So, additional gateways. There's no forge, so there's no cannons. There's no mothership core. Ooh, and now it's going to be exposed. So Unica is actually sending over some drones to try to build there. He's going to get quite a surprise, although I do think he perhaps noticed that already. Archons there are going to do really good against all of those Mutas. Look how much damage they're doing. Although enough Mutas here. We have a high enough Muta count. Yeah. 16 survived the engagement. Good blink there trying to escape some of the splash damage. Just not enough units. And it looks like Stefanovich is going to throw down the GG. So excellent job there from Unica trying to maintain his composure against pressure. And then in turn do some counter pressure. So good game. This is actually the map that Unica fell down a game to Stefanovich last time. So it's good to see him bringing that back. And we're going to see if Stefanovich has what it takes to take down Unica here in the MSL Code A Grand Finals. So thanks for watching. We're going to have another one up in just a moment.